everybody. As you know, this is our final group of speakers from the class of 2023 this year. We will not have chapel next week. As you know, we have long weekends, so I hope you enjoy some time off on Sunday and Monday. On the 1st of May, our next chapel, we will have Alumni Leadership Day, and we will recognize Manny Simons from the class of 2000. You'll hear more about Manny in the coming weeks from Mr. Regal and others, but he's doing incredible work in the field of genetic medicine in Boston, and it will be a great day for us and for Manny and his family. His parents will be here as well. I know our juniors are preparing for tomorrow's fair, college fair at Westminster, and the spring midterm grades close on Wednesday, so keep working hard and stay focused and positive here. We should have nice weather after today for the rest of the week. And again, enjoy some time off next weekend as we prepare for the second half of the spring term. We're going to start today with Kingsley, and when Saud is done, you'll be excused. Kingsley.
What's the word, Associate? My name is Kingsley Acho, and I'm a postgrad from Texas. I did not plan on giving this speech today, and I did not know what to say. So I'm going to be quick, but I will feel thank you and words of advice. To my family, thank you for everything you've done for me. Without your support, I wouldn't be here right now, and I wouldn't have the opportunity I have moving forward. You inspire me every day to be the best of myself. I would like to give a quick shout out to my closest friends here at Suffield, Diane O'Neill and JC Hall. And some words of advice: high standards, low expectations. You'll never have a bad time in your life. Thank you.
Hello, Suffield Academy. My name is Connor Roman, and I'm a postgraduate student from Owings Mills, Maryland. What I'm here to talk to you guys about is something very important to me. I believe if everyone had a little bit more of it, the world would be a much better place. I would even go as far as calling it a virtue that leads not only to short-term success, but a virtue that also has an important part in the big picture. This virtue is patience, or as I like to call it, active patience. In the modern world with instant gratification and technology, it is something most people lack. I would like to share how active patience helped me in my life. This story goes all the way back to my freshman year in high school, 5 years ago in 2018. I was a 5'9", 170-pound freshman on a football team that would go on to finish in the top 100 in the nation that year. We had a very talented team, and because of that, I did not immediately get opportunities on the varsity level. I put my head down and worked every day, and even got some opportunities in out-of-conference games on special teams and at linebacker by the end of the season. This is where the distinction active patience comes into play. You are patient and stick to your goals despite the difficulties, but are active in working towards them while you wait for your shot. And once you get your shot, you take it. I worked hard that off-season, but going into my sophomore year, my coaches stuck me in the JV locker room when camp started. I took this personal and had an amazing training camp. I played great as a backup the first week and was named the week 2 starter. It's happening, I thought. The goal to start as a sophomore, I said at the beginning of my freshman year, was coming to fruition. My 5th rep in practice as the named starter, I badly broke my hand tackling the running back in the backfield. I missed 6 weeks, and this crushed me, but I knew my time would come if I kept grinding. I came back with a club-like contraption on my hand and took pride in being a menace on kickoff team. The season ended with us peaking at 12th in the nation, and I was determined to stay healthy and claim my place as the Mike linebacker of the team next year. This time around, COVID hit. I trained hard and won the starting job with new coaches, beating out a fellow junior I'd been competing with for 3 years and a transfer 5th-year senior. We only got 1 game though, which wiped out my junior season. I still stuck with it and entered my senior year as a team leader and was expected to be an all-conference player. I badly injured my ankle in the first quarter of our first game, came back to play on it only to blow out my shoulder. I came back from that and finished the year. I made the All-Baltimore senior team despite only playing half the year in total, but no colleges would touch me due to my lack of film. I decided to do a PG year, and following the recommendation of a family friend, we checked out Suffield. I loved it, and I came here for a year. We had a rough season to say the least, but I found a home at Fordham, and I'm very excited for that. It was a long 5 years with many trials and tribulations, many of which I did not speak of in this speech, but it all worked out thanks to active patience. Everybody, stick to your guns when it gets rough and work for the long term, not for the short term. I would first, I'd like to give a couple thank yous. I'd first like to thank my entire family, but especially my household family. My mom for being so amazing and caring in every way possible, and my dad for being a great father despite not having one. Thank you both for being there for my siblings, and I could not ask for anything else than what you guys do, and I'm very grateful to have you both in my life. Thank you to my brother Gregory and my sister Emily. You guys mean a lot to me, and I wouldn't want anyone else as my siblings. The four of you are a foundation I'm very blessed to have in my life, and I know you will both, Gregory and Emily, I know you both will find your way as you guys get older. Thank you, Papa, who passed away too soon. I was very lucky to have you in my life, and looking back, I wish I realized the extent of that when I was younger. Even when I was doing my own thing and dealing with stuff, you always checked in on me and gave me great advice. I wish I could have told you that I loved you, but hey, I guess we all got to have at least one thing we wish could have gone differently in life. I'd also like to shout out our two dogs, Boomer and Finn. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Coach Gamir, Sedian, and Brissett for the opportunity here. It has been amazing, and I'm very grateful to you guys for it. Thank you all. Thank you guys for believing in me, and thank you to all my teammates who stuck this tough season out and fought to finish the year strong. That Chester game in the rain was a football classic. Thank you, Mr. Dugan, Mr. Z, Mrs. Green, Ms. Carey, Allie, and anyone else who ran the musical for giving me a shot. You guys sort of took a risk on me, and I was very grateful for your guys' belief. Also, thank you to everyone a part of the musical. You guys were very welcoming and treated me like everyone else, despite me not being a stereotypical theater person. That did not go unnoticed, and I greatly appreciate it. My involvement in the production and my interactions with all of you were truly a pleasure. To my girlfriend, Emily, thank you for being such a positive person and a great person in my life. Your genuine positivity and great character is amazing, and I look forward to having that around moving forward. Shout out to the Fuller boys. You guys are all amazing, and I look forward to enjoying the rest of my time here with you all. I can literally walk into any room and enjoy being around any of you. I've had great and sometimes deep conversations with basically all of you, and I appreciate those interactions a lot. Also, Josh Boyce, y'all, especially earlier in the year, you came up clutch a lot, so thanks for helping me out a lot. I'll always remember that. And I know it sounds cheesy, but thank you to Suffield for the environment, and thank you especially to the senior class. I can sit down with any of you guys and have a great discussion. God bless you all. Have a great day.
What's up, Suffield? My name is Lucas Siegel, and I'm a PG from San Francisco, California. Before I start, I want to warn you all something. Throughout my life, every time I give a speech, I find a way to insert a Yogi Berra quote into it. I promised myself that this speech would be no exception, so stay tuned for a Yogiism. But anyways, today I want to talk about time. Time is pretty relevant in my life right now. I just woke up from a 3-hour nap. Prior to that nap, I had not slept for 25 hours. I got back to Suffield from Japan about 14 hours ago, and right now it feels like 2:11 a.m. tomorrow morning. But my jet lag is not the reason I want to talk about time today. I want to talk about time because it's the greatest constant in life. It doesn't care what we think. It doesn't speed up when we're faced with adversity, and it definitely does not slow down when we're having the times of our lives. There have been a myriad of instances this year where I've wanted time to move faster. I've wanted to fast forward through study hall. That's definitely new to me. I've wanted to fast forward through what was hopefully my only 2-hour detention. And I'll be honest, there have been times where I've wanted to fast forward through this entire year. But now I find myself on the precipice of finally starting my adult life. Yes, 1 year too late. And I'm excited, don't get me wrong, but a part of me does want time to slow down. 10 years ago today, I was finishing 3rd grade with Miss Turner. I had floppy, straight hair, believe it or not, and I was wearing my size 6 Flyknits that were at least 2 sizes too big, with neon yellow Nike Elite socks pulled all the way up to my knees. I was excited to go fly kites with my grandmother at the beach by my house, and I was absolutely convinced that I was going to play shortstop for the Giants one day. 5 years ago today, I was finishing 8th grade, very excited to start high school in the fall and to finally have girls in my school. I still had floppy straight hair, and I was wearing my blue suit, preparing to walk my aunt down the aisle at her wedding. Although I'd come to terms with the fact that I was not going to play professional baseball, 13-year-old me was very excited to have finally reached 5 feet tall. 1 year ago today, I was finishing my senior year, embarrassed whenever the question of where I was going to college came up. I'm taking a gap year, and I'll be applying to college next year, I would say, when I can no longer avoid the questions. My AP Stats teacher gave each of her senior students a hand-knit hat in their future college colors. Mine was the only one that was blue and green, the colors of my high school, Branson. In hindsight, I wish I did have an orange and black hat for my Suffield winter, but at the time, I didn't want to have to answer what the hat would be for. By 1 year ago today, much to my chagrin, I no longer had floppy straight hair. I was wearing my tuxedo on the way to senior prom. I was scared that I would never go to college and that I would end up a disappointment to my family and friends. And I desperately wanted to rewind time and redo the freshman and sophomore years that had put me in that precarious situation. I chose Suffield because I was drawn to the community and felt it was the best place for me to do a PG year. But I didn't want to do a PG year, no one does. Nonetheless, I'm very grateful that I did end up here. I've learned important skills, made strong connections with friends, and last but certainly not least, gotten into college. Today, I'm nearing the conclusion of my PG year. But, as the great Yogi Berra once said, it ain't over till it's over. So I'm excited to make the most of the month that I have left. As you can see, I definitely don't have floppy straight hair anymore. I'm wearing a blue suit, giving my chapel speech at Suffield Academy. I'll never be able to fly kites with my grandma again. I'll never play shortstop for the Giants. And I won't be able to redo my freshman and sophomore years of high school. Hopefully I will have the chance to walk another aunt down the aisle soon, but that's besides the point. I'm going to leave you all with the best piece of advice I have ever heard. Focus on the journey, not the destination. I don't know where I'll be in 1 year, let alone 5 or 10. And a part of me is very anxious to find out. But I'm going to keep trying to just focus on the journey. Because even if I wanted to, I couldn't make time move any faster. And lastly, I'd like to thank my family for being the people who celebrate me on my best, while always being there for me at my worst. Mom, Dad, you guys are right about a lot more than I give you credit for. And you both work your tails off every day. Lainey, you have an uncanny ability to have fun doing just about anything. And any time I spend with you is always a good time. Ellis, you're my mini-me. I hope you keep developing my best traits while staying far, far away from my worst ones. I love all 4 of you. And to Suffield Academy, thank you for making a challenging year valuable in so many ways.
Hi, I'm James Ren, a 3-year senior from Hangzhou, China. Today I want to talk about a lesson I learned from horse riding. In middle school, I was made of pure logic and calculations, and I always perceived the world hyper-rationally. People cry because crying produces hormones that make the body feel better. People refuse to study math because it's hard for them. The cost is higher than the benefit. Traveling around includes the shortest path algorithms, and decorating a wall or a table requires geometry. Numbers and logics were infallible to me. These all changed after an experience with a horse called 追风, which means chasing the wind. Early learnings and trainings in horse riding were no problem to me. 追风 followed my every instruction, and I gradually mastered the basic skills of horse riding. But when learning the more difficult task of jumping hurdles, I couldn't recall how many times when 追风 refused to obey. He balked before the hurdles and sharply turned away, nearly throwing me off. I began analyzing why Joyful refused to cooperate. Maybe I accidentally poured the rein, or did I not lean forward enough? Or maybe the timing is too late to jump, or did I have to make sure that the horse ran in a perpendicular bisector line of the ground? But even after making countless adjustments, the following attempts were still unsuccessful. Then, my coach stopped me and said, "The horse can read the rider's emotions. If you hesitate, the horse will hesitate. If you are anxious, the horse will be anxious. Just feel confident about the jump, and you will make it the next time." These words made me realize that the reason for Joyful's hesitation was actually my own emotions, which I neglected due to my dedication to pure logic and calculations. At that moment, I finally confronted and overcame the anxiety that had been holding both me and Joyful the whole time. Confidently, we started to run and accelerate toward the hurdles. We jumped over the hurdles, over the obstacles, and into the new chapter, the mental stage with full of confidence and not only calculations. Yes, the world is not just about logic and numbers. We are all alive and have our own feelings and must be kind and trusting. I'm now James Ren, a person beyond math and science. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Suffield. My name is Theophilus Henley, and Theo is my nickname. During the final month of the 2023 academic year, I started to think about how school years have ended in the past. I remembered that during elementary and middle school, I always got sentimental on the last week of school before summer break. For some reason, it always felt so final, like I wouldn't get the opportunity to talk to anyone again. However, after 3 months, we'd all be in the next grade and things would go on as usual. That won't necessarily be the case next year, when some of us move on to the next stages of our lives. This is why I've dreaded my senior speech since fall term, not only because I'm not a fan of public speaking, but it also meant that my senior year was coming to an end, and thus my time at Suffield Academy. I also find myself reflecting on my 4 years here as a student. As I look back, I can't help but ask myself, what if? What if I had gone to that event? What if I decided to join this club? Or what if I decided to stay and chat with someone? It's not easy to have regrets, because it's not until afterward that you second guess what you should have done. One of my biggest regrets wasn't realized until May 5th of last year. As I came home after classes, I was met with the saddening news that Mr. Grahowski had passed away. Some of you may have known him as the new French teacher that year, but I had always known him as Matt. Matt was a good family friend and someone I had known for many years. My first memory of him was 6 or 7 years ago, when my family and I traveled to California. Matt was there to pick us up and offered to take us to the La Brigade tar pits. While I was not interested in seeing the tar pits at the time, I would give anything for another precious memory with them. From talking about our favorite dining hall foods to unlocking the door when Mr. Yuan was late for Wednesday morning class, Matt always found a way to make my day a little brighter. My regret was not getting the chance to tell him all the ways he had impacted my life and not thanking him for being the fun uncle I never had. Now, whenever I think of Matt, I remember the quote, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my parents and grandparents for all their sacrifices, all my friends for being there when I needed them, my teachers for showing me how passionate teaching can inspire curiosity, and the Suffield community for showing me how easy it is to be kind. Thank you.
Hi Suffield, my name is Suraj Chawaf and I'm a 4-year senior from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I wrote this speech on a flight here from Riyadh, a flight I spent over 350 hours on throughout these last 4 years. I spent 15 full days of my life flying between here and home because of what Suffield has to offer. And I've grown tremendously over these last few years thanks to a variety of people and places that have made my time here so memorable. But everything I am, everything I have, all of the tools and blessings I have access to were given to me by one person, my grandfather. The life-changing opportunity that is attending Suffield was only available to me because of him. My passion for international relations, the creation of the Model UN Club, my love for ceramics, were not just encouraged and supported by my grandpa. They were only possible because of him. My ability to easily travel between here and Riyadh, those 300 plus hours to and from Riyadh, were only available because of him. I thought a lot about what I wanted to say today, and I had plenty of acceptable ideas, but the one thing I was absolutely sure I needed to say was thank you. First and foremost to my grandfather, but to so many others as well. Mrs. C has been my home at Suffield for the last 4 years. Without her, I wouldn't have the outlet for clarity and reflection I've grown to love independently. I can't thank her enough for her kindness and her support for these last 4 years. Mr. Pence, my advisor, like Mrs. C, pushes me to be the best version of myself. They do this in very different ways, however. On one hand, Mrs. C will praise me for showing up to class, talking, and being present and interested. While with Mr. Pence, I could make what I believe to be the most insightful and informative addition to one of our discussions, and he would always push for more. He would always respond with another question. At times, I felt like I couldn't win with Pence. At times, I felt like I couldn't satisfy Mr. Pence, but without knowing it, Mr. Pence's hard-earned praise made me hungrier for it. He made me demand more of myself in an effort to impress him, and I couldn't thank him enough for installing the sense of motivation that has benefited me across the board. Finally, mostly, I need to thank my parents, not just for sacrificing 4 important years with me, but for allowing me to live here and do what I felt was right, even if they had their doubts. They were and still are more committed to my success and growth than I am, and without them, I wouldn't be half the man I am today. I wanted to make a speech about ceramics, dorm life, being from Saudi Arabia and the culture shock and differences that I've experienced, or maybe about going last and being the last senior to give his senior speech. But ultimately, my time at Suffield made me understand how truly blessed I am to have so many involved loved ones in my life. Every day I've been here, I've asked myself if I made the right choice leaving home. And now I can confidently say that I am proud of the person Suffield, along with my family, has helped me to become. Leaving this place is bittersweet. I'm desperately eager to graduate, while also desperately trying to slow things down and hang on to whatever time I have left here. I'm so thankful and blessed to have been given the opportunity to travel, meet great people, be here in this small, random town. Because when I first visited Suffield, that's all this place was to me. A small, boring town in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut. But 4 years later, Suffield has become my home, and I'm so thankful for that. Final thank yous to Ms. Nye, Ms. Naumann, Ms. Gottwalls, and Mr. Regal for their consistent help and kindness. I will miss you all next year. Thank you.